Good morning, everyone. I'm Sushmita, working as computer science faculty. Today, I'm going to explain you a basic web page development with the help of HTML. Though we have many applications available in the market nowadays to develop a web page or to design our own web page, many alternatives are there. Even if we don't know the coding, also we can develop a web pages. But besides all these things, HTML stand as a basic for a web page development. So today we'll be seeing the basic concepts of HTML. So in this session, I'm going to explain you the following topics. Firstly, we'll be discussing what is the concept of web, then we'll be discussing HTML and HTML elements, followed by the structure of the HTML document and where we are going to create that HTML documents and how we are going to execute them, how it will be converted into a web page. All these things we are going to discuss under HTML editors. Then we are going to discuss later we are going to see the text formatting tags followed by the lists and how we can create tables and how we can create a scrollable text with the help of marquees and how we can insert images and how we can put them as backgrounds for your web pages. All these concepts we are going to discuss in today's session. So let's not to wait, let's go for the session. The first topic today is the concept of web. What is web actually? A web is a collection of documents, a collection of content. Um, Basically, all the content whatever is available in the internet is in the form of web pages. So these web pages are usually developed with the help of HTML documents. Usually, where all the web pages resides, that particular system is called as a server system, and from which system we are going to use those web pages online are called as client system. So suppose university is maintaining all our details in the server system, which may reside anywhere. We can't identify where it is actually. But whenever we want to check our result, we can check from any of the devices. So we are going to type a hall ticket number and we are going to click on search. Immediately a request will be sent from our page to the server system. We will get a response in the form of a HTTP response. And these responses sometimes sometimes the responses may vary from system to system, browser to browser. It also depends on the browser which is rendering all the codes. Sometimes a web page looks different in Chrome, sometimes it looks different in Firefox, sometimes it looks different in some other browsers. It depends on the browser also sometimes and how the browser is going to interpret all those. Let us go to the next topic, which is HTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, which is used for the web page development. It consists of series of elements. Usually, we used to call them as tags. If you can see here, how a basic tag is. A tag is nothing but a collection of letters. This is how a basic structure of a HTML element. Sometimes it is going to, there are two types of elements, paid tags and singular tags. Paid tags means a tag which is have an opening and a closing, and whatever the content we want to put, that we are going to keep inside of this opening and the closing. So paid tags will come in pair. There will be an opening and there will be a closing. Whereas for singular tags, there will be an opening and there is no need of closing. And in further classes, we will be seeing many examples for the paid and as well as for unpaid singular tags. Let us move on to the basic structure of the HTML document. So this is the basic structure of the HTML document. As I told you, here you can see many tags. Firstly, we can see here HTML tag, head tag, followed by title, title closing, head closing, followed by body opening and body closing tag. Finally, HTML closing tag. This is the basic structure. So if you can observe in total, this HTML complete document have one particular part which is HTML opening and HTML closing. This HTML tag will define the beginning of the HTML web page, whereas the HTML closing tag will define the whereas the HTML closing tag will define the closing of the HTML file. Here, even in HTML, if you can observe, in between HTML opening and HTML closing tag, we have two separate sections. One is head section and another one is body section. In head sections, we are going to put content in such a way that which will render the complete document in a beautiful manner. So currently here we are keeping only title, and in further slides we will be seeing what are the other contents that we can put under the head section. And let us move on to the body. In case of body, whatever the content we are going to keep inside of this body section will be displayed in your web page. So this is how basically a HTML document looks like. So let us not to wait, let us see how and where we are going to write these HTML documents, how they are going to convert it into web pages, that we'll see next. Okay, so the next topic is HTML editors. So we are going to write this HTML documents in a simple notepad itself. So we are going to type the complete content and we are going to save the file with the help of, we are going to save the file with the name and with the .html as a file extension of it. Simply that file will be rendered in, with the browser logo, and whenever you click on that logo, whenever you click on that file name, automatically it will be already it is saved as a web page, as it is, we are storing it with the .html. So whenever we open that, automatically it will be opening in. So I'm opening Notepad, and simply whatever the content that I have discussed there, the same content I'm going to type here. HTML opening followed by head, here I'm going to put a name for my web page, my web page. So instead of the body, here I am writing simply a small hello message. Then I am closing the body tag. As I told you, body tag will whatever the content that we are writing inside the body tag will be displayed as it is on the output. So let us see how it will be done. And if we are directly saving it, I'm going to file, then save. I'm storing it on the desktop, but here I'm going to change it to all files, and here I am naming it as my1.html and save. So if you can see here, this is the HTML file. So I'm opening it with the Chrome. So this is how it is coming. And so this is how it can be done with a notepad. Let us see the other alternatives. We can use the same method with the help of Notepad++, or we can use the editors, Eclipse. We can use any premium editors which we can where we can get output just beside of your code. So here I have mentioned 3 websites where we can check our code online. Suppose if you are creating your web page in a normal mobile, if you want to run a small code online, then how you can try all those things? You can try them online with the help of these 3 websites. The first one is W3 Schools and Geeks for Geeks and Tutorials Point. So first I'm going with W3 Schools and I'll show you how W3 Schools will work out. So this is how a W3 Schools web page will provide you a direct editor for running your own code, a direct editor for running your own code. Here we have the same code, HTML head, title section and head closing section, then followed by body. And here we have some more tags. Let us see them and see them later. So for the time being, the same thing, whatever we did for the earlier one, I am doing here. So whatever the text that you are typing on the left hand side, it will be rendered, and how your web page will look like, it will be shown on the right hand side. These online editors gives us the facility to check how the web page will be displayed in a normal mobile view or in a tab view or in a laptop view. So it's a beautiful feature, right? So let us move on to the next topic, which is headings. Headings and paragraphs. Obviously, headings gives us a beautiful representation for any of the web pages, and our HTML supports 6 types of heading tags. For that, we are going to use H1, H2, H6, H3, so on, 6 heading tags up to H6. Whereas H1 is a larger in size and H6 is a smaller in size. And if you can see here, all these 6 tags are paid tags. They have opening and they have closing. Whatever the content that you are writing in between these 2 tags will be displayed as a heading in your web page. So this is how they will be displayed. H1 will give us a larger size heading and H6 will give us a smaller size heading. So depending on the tag which we are using, the size of the heading will be decided. And let us move on to the next topic, which is paragraphs. Paragraphs, whenever we are supposed to write a paragraphs in a web page, we need to use one tag, which is P. So the P tag, we need to write the content, whatever we want to put under passage or a paragraph in between P opening and a P closing tag. Usually this P tag will give a space between the content which you are going to write in a paragraph, and after the paragraph also it leaves some spaces. There is no need to specify, we no need to specify that spaces after the passage and before the passage, automatically it gives a space. And let us move on to and see the next tags are BR tag. The BR tag will give a line break. Suppose if you are writing a large passages, if you are not, suppose if you are writing few lines one after another if you wanted to write. But if you keep on writing the same content in the notepad by simply pressing enter, they won't come in the next line. They will automatically come in the same line. If you want the content of your page to be coming to the next line, you have to use a tag called BR tag. So BR tag will break that line so that the content which is thereafter will be coming into the next line. And if you can observe here, BR tag is an unpaid tag. It's a singular tag. There will be no closing. Simply we are going to use a BR opening and there will be no closing for that. And the next tag is HR tag. HR tag will give us a horizontal ruler. It gives us a line break. Like it works as a separator between the content, and it is having 3 attributes. Attributes are nothing but the properties which gives more beautification to the tag. So I told you already, HR gives us a horizontal ruler, right? A line. So we can give a line, a color. We can give any color here, and this is called as an attribute, and this is called as a value of the attribute. And we can give the size of the ruler, how much size that we want for the ruler, and how much width it should be. Either it should be half of the page or full of the page, or either it should come a little bit like an underline or a small one. So that we can decide with the help of these 3 attributes. Let us check how these heading tags and BR tags and passage tags will work out. So let us try from the heading tag. So I'm taking heading, some heading I'm typing here with H1. So if I'm not going to give anything, this is how they are going to be displayed. So this is the heading and this is the normal content we are going to write. For the normal content which we are going to write, there is no there is no need that we need to put them in any of the tags. Suppose if I want to take this NKJ to the next line, here I am writing it in the next line. I am writing it in the next line, but see how they are coming. They are coming in a single line in output, if you can see here. Why? Because though we are giving spaces, they won't allow any of the spaces. Simply they will treat it as a single line of content which you are typing. So if you want to take them to the next line, what tag we need to use? We need to use a BR tag, break tag, which will break the line and it will take the content to the next line. So this is how a break will work. So let us see. So this is how it will work. And let us see about the HR tag. Here I am putting the HR tag. I want to put a horizontal ruler. HR tag will separate the content and it gives us a horizontal ruler. If you can see here, we are getting a horizontal line here, right? So if you want to type any content with the help of a passage, then obviously you will be getting some space before the content and some space after the content. This is how your passage will be displayed. There will be some space beforewards and afterwards too. This HR tag has three attributes, as I told you. The first attribute that we can give it color. Suppose if this line, if you want it to be in red color, you can make it red by using an attribute color and giving a value as red. If you want to make it as a green, you can give a value as green. And the next one which I wanted to give is size. If you want to improve the size of it, you can give it with the size. Here I'm giving some 20. Then I'm giving some width 200. Let us see how it will come. So this is how it is coming, right? So I gave width just 200. That's why it is giving only up to 200 pixels and size is only 20. If you are not mentioning anything, it will take the default size, which is the smallest size, and it will take the largest width. So this is how it is going to be done. So let us move on to the next topic, which is text formatting tags. Text formatting tags are used to format the text. Here I have listed out some of the text formatting tags. As we all know that bold, italic and emphasize will be used even in our documents. So the same thing will be done even here. B tag, I tag and EM tag are used to bold the text and write a cursive text and to emphasize the text respectively. And here we are using mark tag to highlight the content of the content, some specific content. And if you want to strike through something, then you can use delete. If you want to mention it as subscript, like when you are writing H2SO4, if you want to come to as a bit down, then we are going to use it as subscript. And if you want to write some content on the top of it, like if you can observe the heading here, I made here text formatting tags, whereas formatting is there a bit on the top, right? So that kind of text we can write with the help of a superscript tag. We have another tag called font tag, which basically takes three attributes. The first one is size. With the help of a font tag, the size attribute, we can mention size of the text, and with the help of a face attribute, we can mention the style of the text. So in which mode it should be written, like in Times New Roman or in Wordina or in Arial. So that we are going to mention in face. And the next one is color. So in which color you want your text to become, that is going to be mentioned in here. So whenever we are mentioning colors, there is a possibility that we can mention colors in three ways. The first one, directly we can mention the color name like this, or else we can give one more thing, we can mention them in a hexadecimal numbers like this. So, and or else we can mention the RGB composition. This stands for red composition, green composition, and the blue composition. So these three compositions will give us a different kind of colors. So the browsers which we currently are using supports 140 basic colors which are supported by HTML, and usually if you want to color any text, then you can mention with the help of a font tag. Otherwise, if you can mention with the help of an attribute called text in the body tag itself, so that the complete body will come in the same line. So if you want your complete document to be in black color text, then you can mention it text is equal to black. So automatically whatever the content that you are typing will be coming in black. If you want it to be in red, then mention here it as red. And the other one is, if you want your background of your web page to be in some different color, then you are supposed to use this attribute bg color in the body tag itself. So here you can mention the color name, what kind of color you want for your complete web page as a background. So that color you can mention here. So let us see how the colors and how the font and how the text formatting things will be done with the help of HTML in an editor. Here we'll check one by one. Let us start with the bold tag. So here I'm writing some content. I'm putting the B tag in between here. So let us see how it will come. So this is how it is coming. Some part of the text is coming in bold. And if I write even the next content also, it will come in a normal, because here it is opening and here it is closing. The same thing I'm copying here and I'm using it for italic. So obviously this will make your text to be come in italics mode. Let us go with the next one, subscript. So here if you can observe, the content will come a bit down when you are supposed to write some chemical formulas. If you want to write something like a tagline, then you can mention these subscripts. If you want to mention them as superscripts, you can use the tag SUP, so that the content will be coming on the top, a level top. You can see here, right? So this is how the text formatting can be done. Let us see how a font tag will work now. So here I am taking font. So the attributes here we can use are color. I am putting the text color to be green. Till now, whatever the content that I have typed is simply in black color, right? So from now onwards, I am going to keep colors for the text to beautify it more. And we can mention the size of it. Here I'm mentioning the size 4, and I'm mentioning some face, Arial I'm mentioning, and from here whatever the content that I am going to type will obviously rendered with the help of these three attributes. Let us check. You can see here the content is coming in green color, and the size is also improved when compared to the previous text, and the text style is also improved with the help of phase attributes. So this we can use with the help of these things, we can do with the help of a font tag. Let us move on to the next example. Let me make it another color, or let me give it in a hexadecimal form as I told you. So let me give 002233. Let us see what color it will come. So we are getting it in some blue color, and here now let us try RGB combination also, how the color should come. So here instead of hexadecimal number, I am putting RGB combination. Some random number I am giving. Let us see. So this is the color we are going to get. So these three are the methods by which we can give a color to the text. One, we can mention the color directly with the help of naming them, like green is different, bottle green is different, yellow is different, green yellow is different. Likewise, every different color combination has given a hexadecimal number. Better we follow that so that to get a good color for our web page. So as we have already discussed, if you want to give a complete background color or complete text to be in some color, then we need to give those colors in the body tag itself. So we use text attribute to color the complete text of your document. Suppose if this text attribute, for this text attribute, if I am giving a green color, obviously the complete text is going to come in green color itself. So in between whatever the different colors that you are giving, obviously they will be rendered because by default you gave them as completely green. But in between we have used it as red or in some other colors, right? So obviously whatever the internal one is there, that will be taken. So the next one, if you want to give a complete background color, if you can see here, our text is beautifully designed. Here we are using line by line, we are using lines and we are giving colors, but there is no background color. Without any background color, obviously it looks bad. So what we are going to do, we are going to give a good background color for that with the help of background attribute. Sorry, with the help of BG color attribute. So this BG color attribute will give background color for your web page. So you can give any color for your web page. By default, it will be coming in white color. If you want, you can give any color. So as I told you, there are 140 combination of colors which are given by HTML, which are supported by all the browsers. You can get the names of those 140 colors easily from the websites, and you can change it. So the default color is white and the default text color is black. If you are not mentioning anything over here, obviously they will be coming in the black color text and white color background. So this is about the colors. So let us move on to the next topic. The next topic is tables. And for the remaining two rows, we are going to use the table data as they are belong to normal data. You can see how this can be implemented. You can look at. Here I am creating the same table with the name and the student table, and I am going to keep some data, student data inside of the table with the same table structure which we have discussed earlier. The same table structure here I am going to create. So for that, I am creating the table with the help of the table tab. So table opening figure and table closing, then followed by there will be the three rows, right? And the first row closing, followed by second row and second row closing, and followed by third row and third row closing. So in the first row, what is the content we have? In the first row, we have all headings. So to mention the headings, we are going to use the tag CH. And I'm going to take serial number of the student and one heading and name of the student and second one. And I'm going to take their marks, the third one. So this is how we can create headings. So let us see how it will be rendered first. So with this we are getting only the heading. So with this our first row is finished. Let us move on to the second row. Our second row and third row both are having data. So I am going to keep here a student data with the help of AD tag, which is used to mention the table cell data. So here we are getting the details of the first student. Same content we are going to take for the second row also, but the details of the student will be changed. So we are changing to so let us see. So here we got the same table like structure with the headings and the data, but we are not able to see the borders of the table, right? So for that we have an attribute for the table border. So we are going to keep the size for the border, whatever the length that you are giving, the border will be coming in that size. So here I gave 2, so the border is coming with size 2. If I keep 20, it will be coming with size 20. So this is how the border. Besides border, table tag also has inner attributes like height and width. It will decide the height of the table and the width of the table. So here I am doing height to table. Let us see how it is doing. Yeah. Width, 500. So automatically the height and width change is changing only numbers. So besides these two, if you want to enter the background color with the help of basic color items to your table. And whatever the color you want, the color name you can mention here, or we have already discussed the previous to the color. And then normal, normal mixing size, so without using any size. So that we can do with the help of these colors. So there is another important topic quickly discussed in this table is span for span. So there are two situations like we are supposed to combine either two rows or either two columns, right? So in that situation, how we can do? So let us see here. Both of the students got the same marks, and I want to merge these two personal commentary, and I want to mention that today. Then how we can do that? So whenever we are going to reach this particular cell, in that particular cell data, we are going to mention it as row span, because this row we are going to combine with the second row. So here we are going to give an attribute for a table data as row span. Is equal to how many rows we are going to combine, that number we are going to keep. So here I want to combine two rows, so I am going to put it at number 2. And once if we are giving 50, we should there is no need of giving it again in the second line, because already it is known with 0 value to that. And so simply we need to fill these two. So we are going to remove this. Now I am going to run, let us see how it will be changed. So this is how the content will be changed. So let us see the next one, false span. Suppose if there is a situation that you need to combine two columns. So this combination of two rows, in the same manner, if there is a scenario that we were supposed to combine two columns, then that can be done with the help of false span. That is also we are going to use in data itself. So if I want to combine these two columns for the first year. So I'm going to mention here false span. So when you are combining these two columns, there will be only one data, right? So we should not put the second data. So here I'm going to remove this one, and I'm going to combine two columns. So let us see how it will go. Yeah. So these two columns will be combined together, and the same data we are going to get. A single data will be getting in this particular cell. So this is how row span and false span will work with the table data. Next topic is lists. HTML supports three types of lists. The first type is ordered list, and the second one is unordered list, and the third one is definition list. Let us see one by one what is ordered and what is unordered. When we have a list of items to be mentioned and maintained in a proper manner, we prefer ordered list. When we have a list of items to be maintained, but there is no necessity that this one will come first and that one will come second, then we can mention them in another list. If you want to mention any definition of your list of items, then we use definition list. Let us see one by one. Let us go to the first one, which is ordered list. In ordered list, we are going to use two tags. The first tag is OL tag, and the second tag is LI tag. OL tag is used to define an ordered list, whereas LI tag defines list items. What are all the items that we are going to put inside an ordered list? Each and every item is going to be mentioned with a tag LI tag. So, suppose if you want to list out 5 elements, then each and every element will be enclosed within these two LI tags, opening and closing the LI tags. And whenever we are going to give any markings in the proper manner, we can use these types, right? We can give 1, 2, 3, we can give Roman number 1, 2, 3, we can give capital A, we can give small a. These are all the types of lists which we are going to get. And these ordered lists and unordered lists will behave same like bullets and numbering in Word document. You can see here I have mentioned an example. Here I am mentioning the type 1, and I mentioned BSc and BCom as two list items. And I take another ordered list with type A and two list items NPCS and MPS. Here you can clearly see that BSc and BCom will be getting the numbers 1 and 2 automatically. If you are adding another list item, automatically the next list item will be coming to 3. The next one will be getting from 4. Likewise, automatically they will be getting. Here in the second ordered list, I have mentioned in AB. Suppose if I add another list here, automatically A after B, then C will be coming. Let us move on to the next one, which is unordered list. Unordered list you also uses two tags. The first tag is UL tag, which represents unordered list, and the second tag is LI tag, which also represents a list item, same like in ordered list. Here, there are three types of ordered list supported in HTML, basic HTML. They are circle, disk, and square. So we will be getting output in the form of circles and this and in the form of squares. Here I have mentioned two examples again. In the first examples, I took an unordered list and its type is this. And I mentioned two list items. One is BSc and another one is BCom. So likewise, how many if you want to take, that many you can take. As there is no special numbering automatically, this symbol will be coming before the list items. And in case of second example, I mentioned the type as circle. So automatically each and every list item will be getting a circle symbol just before them. If we are not mentioning any of the type, automatically by default it will take disk as its default type. So let us move on to the next one, which is a definition list usually defines the list of items. Suppose if we want to define more than 2-3 items, then we can use a definition list here. Definition lists are created with the help of three terms here, three tags. The first tag is the BL tag, which represents the beginning of a definition list, and obviously it's a paid tag. And the next tag is the DT tag, which defines the tag name. Suppose if you want to define something, so there should be a term, right? What is encapsulation? Encapsulation is a term. And when you are giving an explanation, when you are giving a definition, that is going to be the definition term definition or definition term description. The term is mentioned with the help of DT, whereas the definition or description will be mentioned with the help of a DD tag. So these are the three tags which we are going to use for the definition list. So let us see an example. Here I gave an example. I created a definition list with two definitions. The first definition term is coffee and its definition is black hot drink. Small example I gave here. And the next term I am taking here is milk, and how it is going to be white cold drink. So it is going to be the definition and definition or definition and description. So here we can see these two are the definition terms and these two are definition term descriptions or definition term definitions. So this is about definition list. So finally we have discussed three types of lists: the ordered list and unordered list and definition list. There is no necessity that we should use either ordered or unordered or definition. We can use any of the combinations. We can nest one inside of another one. We can put ordered list in unordered list in ordered list. There is however we need in such manners we can use. The next topic is marquees. Whenever we visit any web page or website, we'll be seeing some sort of a scrolling messages, right? Notifications or an emergency alerts. So such kind of messages which we want to scroll are to be done with the help of marquee tag. So we can scroll the text either horizontally or vertically with the help of this tag. And the syntax of this tag is marquee, and we can it is having multiple attributes, and their attributes values. And finally, whatever the content that we want to scroll, that content we need to mention, and there will be a closing for that. So there are list of attributes for marquees. The first one is height and width. How much height should be given for the scrollable text, and how much width will be given. Those two will be mentioned with the help of height and width attribute. And the next one is direction. Either it should be from up or down, or from left or right. So which direction we want that text to be scrolled, that we need to mention with the help of an attribute direction. And the next one is behavior. There are three types of behaviors which are already defined. The first one is scroll, and the second one is slide, and the third one is alternative. Scroll means it will be the text will be scrolling. Slide means the text will be sliding from one side to the other side. Alternate means Alternatively, the text will be coming from one side to the other side. Scroll delay. Scroll delay is used to slow down the number of repetitions of a scrollable text. And the next one is scroll amount. So how many times a marker should scroll? That we can in a short time. That we are going to mention here in a scroll amount attribute. And the next one is loop. How many times that should be scrolled in a loop? That we are going to mention here. And there are three more attributes which are most common. BG color, which gives the background color for the marquee, and H space and V space, which gives the horizontal and vertical space between the marquee and the marquee background. So these are the basic attributes of the marquee. Let us see how it can be executed. So here I am taking the same one, and here I am going to mention the marquee tag, marquee, and I'm going to give height as 30 and width as some 200. Then color is red. And so I'm not going to mention loop. Let us see how it will come, and simply I am mentioning the behavior. Now I'm mentioning the direction. In this direction, the text is moving. I'm giving left. And the content which I wanted to scroll is hello. Yeah. And finally closing of the marquee. You can see how it will come. So here we are getting the marquee which is scrolling towards the left hand side. It is in red color as I have mentioned here, and the height is 30 and width is 200. So I am going to remove this. Let us see what is going to happen. Height and width. Firstly I am removing the width. So obviously it will take the complete screen, and if I remove the height, so it will take the text size. So whatever the text size will be there, that is going to be the size of the marquee, height of the marquee. And here I have mentioned it as red color, so the marquee is there in the red color. And here the content is scrolling towards the left hand side continuously. So let us see, let us change the behaviors. So here I am mentioning behavior as slide. Here I am mentioning behavior as, let us take the behavior alternate here. And let me go with the third one. So let's see how this group will behave. So the first marquee is a sliding one. So it's coming and Alternative, it will come and it will go. Scroll, it will continuously scroll from right to left out, and again it will be coming from right to left. Whereas alternative, it will come from left to right as well as from right to left. So this is about Marquise and scrollable text. Let us go and see the next topic, which is images. Images gives a very good impact to the web pages. We can put images as part of your web page as well as we can keep them as background for your complete web pages, which gives a good impact of your web page. See, we can insert images into a web page with the help of an img tag. IMG is an unpaid tag. There will be no closing tag for that. Simply it is going to have few of the attributes like SRC, alternative, width, height, border and alignment. And let us see one by one. The first one is SRC attribute. Without SRC attribute, IMG tag will be of no use. This SRC indicates the source of the image. Whenever we are developing a web page, there is a possibility that we can use more than one images. And there is a possibility that all those images may not be in the same place, right? So the image location, where the particular image is located, that complete path will be mentioned here as an attribute value. And the second one is alternative, AALT. So usually we put an alternative messages when we are not available, right? So in the same manner, when this particular image is not available, what should be done? There should be a proper message either that image is not available, and what is the problem in not uploading that image. Such kind of messages we are going to put here in alternative. And the next one is width and height. Obviously width and height will be deciding the height and width of the images, and we can also give a border with the help of border attribute, and we can align the image either to the left or to the right or to the center with the help of align attribute. And besides all these things, we have another attribute called background, which is usually kept either in a tables or in forms or in body tag directly as an attribute, and it is going to take the address of the image. We are going to use this background attribute to insert the image as backgrounds. So img tag is used to insert the image into the web page as a normal image, whereas background attribute is used to insert the image as backgrounds for the complete web page or for a part of a web page. Let me tell you now how we can insert an image with the help of an img tag. So this is an example which we have discussed earlier. So here in this example, I want to put one image inside of it. So the tag which we are using is img tag, and must and should attribute is src, and here we are going to keep the source. Then an alternative message we are going to keep. Suppose if that particular image is not available, then we should display some message, right, to make the user to understand what happened, what should be displayed there, whether it is running properly or not. So here I am mentioning image not available. If that particular image is not available, then this text is going to be displayed in that particular place. And next, I'm going to mention the height and width, so that the image should be coming with a prescribed size. And let us align it towards left, and let us give some border for that. Border. So hope I have covered almost all the attributes. So here we need to put the address of the particular image where that is located. Suppose here we are trying everything online, right? Whenever you are practicing online, then you can take an online pictures which are available. So here if you can see, here I have some images and I want to insert this image, then I'm going to click on that. So automatically here I will get copy image address. Click on copy image address so that the image address will be copied, and we are going to paste here, and this is the location of the image. So let us see how it will come. So this is the image which we have seen already, and we have uploaded it successfully to our web page. And let us here I gave an alignment as left, that's why it is coming on the left hand side. Let us try the other side, right. If you put right, obviously the image will be coming on the right hand side and the text will be aligned onto the left hand side. By default, if we are not putting any align attribute, automatically it will be coming on the left hand side itself. What if this particular image is not available? Let me remove this, let me make some small change so that it may not give us image. So here you can check the alternative message is being displayed, image not available. Here we have mentioned an alternative message, image not available. The same message will be displayed here, but the height and width which we are mentioning here will be mentioned as usual. Okay. What happens if we are not mentioning height and width? We are not mentioning height and width. Obviously, it will take a small part. Okay. But if we are mentioning a proper image address, then automatically, if we are not mentioning the size, let us see what will be coming. So here I am mentioning again the correct address. So the image is going to be displayed in its own size. If you can see here, see. This is the image. The image is occupying the complete web page because its size is very much big. So let us try with the next one. And this is different from keeping image as a background. So let me give here height and width so that it will be coming in a small size, and width is 200. So this is the image which we have inserted. If you are not mentioning, whatever the original size is there, that will be displayed as it is. Same thing we can put even as a background. Let us try how it will be coming. As I told you already, body, in body tag, we can use an attribute called background to insert the image as a background. Let us see how it will come. So we have already seen the image is occupying the complete page. That's why we can't see it completely right now. So it is occupying the complete web page. So image will be coming as a background, as well as a image we can insert as a normal part of a web page. This is how we can insert an images as a background as well as a part of a web page when we are working or practicing on online documents. And let us see how it can be done offline when we are using a normal notepad, and how we can insert that time, how we can insert an image and how we can put them as background and how to identify the image location. Let us see. Here we have a file, my one, which we have created in the morning. So this one I am going to open with notepad. So simply we have mentioned a hello world message there. So now I am trying to insert image img and src equal to some path I am going to keep here, then followed by alternative message equal to not available. There is no restriction that you should keep an alternative message only like this. You can put any message. And here I am mentioning the height as 200 and width also 200. And that's it. And here I have an image. I have an image on my desktop. So click on the image which you want to insert into your document. Then go to properties. There you can see the location where that particular image is available. So copy that location and copy the file name. The file name is flower here and its type is JPG. So the same we are going to mention here in SRC. The file path we are going to copy followed by file name. The image name is flower dot and its extension we have already seen. Its file name is flower and its extension is jpg dot jpg. The same thing we need to mention here very clearly. Otherwise, we are not going to get an image into our web page. We need to mention exact file extension. So whether it is a JPG image or a PNG image, whether it is an MP3 or an MP4 when you are uploading a video or an audio. So it is very much important. File extension should be mentioned very much properly. And let us see how it will be done. Then file again, save. This is a file. Now I am going to open it with the help of a browser. I am using Chrome for that. And this is how it is going to be displayed on the output. And see, this is our web page. And here the image got inserted with the with the size, specified size. If we want, we can change the size of it. Simply open the file with a notepad. Just remove the size. Let us see what will be coming. Simply click on save. Save. Go to the browser and click on refresh. This is the actual size of the image. So that's why it is coming only in this size. So finally, this is about images. We can insert images into our web page with the help of an IMG tag, or we can make them as backgrounds for our complete web pages with the help of background attribute. And these are the topics which we have discussed today. Initially, we started with the concept of web with the HTTP request and a response, how a client and how a server behaves. Then we have discussed about HTML and HTML elements. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and it is a collection of it is having collection of elements which are called as tags. And then we have discussed about the basic structure of the HTML document. Then the editors, we have throughout the lecture we have seen multiple ways, multiple editors, online editors we have tried and offline editor we have tried. And then we have also discussed about text formatting tags, bold, italic, superscript, subscript, and how we can color them, how a list will be created. We have discussed about 3 lists: ordered list, unordered list, and the definition list. Then we have discussed about tables, how we can create tables and how we can create a scrollable text with the help of marquee tags. And finally, we have discussed about the images. So these are the contents which I have covered today. And in the overall topics, whatever the contents which I discussed till now are used only to develop a static web page. Suppose if someone opens that, it will be same for thousands of people. It will be same for all the members. So in the next session, we will be discussing about a dynamic web page development. We can do it with the help of style sheets and scripting languages. That we will be discussing in the next session. Thank you.